23. Come join us and see the amazing work God is doing down here. Tonight we're going to be talking about part of my book series I wrote, Why on Earth Did God Let This Happen, for Heaven's Sake? Read a few more of the stories that I wrote from prison, unjustly incarcerated. You can read all about that on KentHovinisInnocent.net. Okay, we are, let's see, the place where God gets the glory for his creation. We're on Rumble and Genesis Baptist Church on YouTube, Odyssey, whole bunch of places. Let's see, Instagram. What is that one? D Live. What's the alternative? D Dead? Okay. PeerTube. I don't know what half of these are. A whole bunch of places. You can find us all over the place on there. If you want to get our series, we produce a lot of material on creation, evolution to strengthen your faith in God's Word. The Bible is true. Absolutely, cover to cover. Okay. While I was in prison unjustly, I wrote a series of books. Did quite a few things in prison. Wrote 37 books, led 800 men to the Lord, held Bible study 4 times a day. But I wrote a series, Why on Earth Did God Let This Happen? And we're recording some of these for this broadcast here to help you strengthen your faith. If you've had something happen in your life and you can't figure out why, maybe this series will help you. Sometimes you just don't know till you get to heaven and say, oh, that's why. I wrote a book about the prison system called The Kennel. You got to read that. If you know anybody in jail, send them one of those. It's here somewhere. Okay. If you want to become a world-famous artist and draw pictures, as I tell these stories, you say, hey, that picture would look good right here. Help me out here. Okay, if something bad happens, you got 3 choices. You can let it define you, destroy you, or strengthen you. What are you going to do? Job had everything go wrong in his life in the Bible, in the book of Job. So I'm going to just serve God anyway. So why on earth did God let this happen? Well, we'll cover some of that tonight. Let's see. Today, April the 24th. Tomorrow is World Penguin Day. You believe that? Wow. Okay. And then I got a debate this Thursday night with Grayson. Again, he won't give up. Grayson, bring it on, okay? And then another debate next May 4th, if you want to tune in for that one, and honor Firefighters Day. Praise God for that. And then our boot camp coming up this June. So DAL is the perfect place to bring your youth group, your men's group, have a women's retreat, scout group, Boy Scout group, Awana Club. Bring them here. We're having group comes from all over the place to see. I'm an Eagle Scout. I like to have scout groups come. Perfect place to bring your science class. And the perfect place for some old codgers who like to organize shops to come help us organize or do 1,000 other odd projects. Those 2 guys that were here for 8 months, they were a blessing, weren't they? Organized the shop. Or we're also, ladies, we're looking for a husband to marry our shop manager, Titus and Rex. I advertise for you. Guys want to get up here and say hi? No? Okay. And who else? Oh, Billy. That's going to be hard to find one for Billy. Gee, anyway, we got how many single guys here? Those 3. 4? Oh, Garrett, yeah.
Not Garrett. Justin.
Justin, yeah. Mark, yeah. Anyway, okay. Dinosaur Adventureland, 140 acres, cool place, science center, museum, theme park. It is fun. 12,000 square foot science center out in the middle of the woods in Alabama. Come see our amazing science center and check us out on the internet. Let's see. We want to help change lives for eternity. If you want to help us, you can subscribe to our channel and help support us. We don't charge anything. We're straight north of Pensacola, 70 miles in the itty-bitty town of Lenox, right off I-65, right there. It's visitors from all over. Where's that couple today from with their grandson? I gave them the tour. And we're closed. I forgot whether. Anyway, take the real tour. I like giving that one on the Jeep. The Science Center tour, the farm tour, the playground tour. If you want to walk around the lakes with us, we got 16 lakes and ponds you can go fishing in. Real tour. 262 baptized so far. You can help us win souls by joining our 777 Club. Give us your financial support, $1 a day if you can, drdino.com. Okay, let's see right here. Any checks to CSE. We can get our video series on science in the Bible, $50 for 18 hours. So all that stuff. Hey, Billy, we're advertising, looking for some women, for wives for you guys, so you quit griping. You want to get up here and say hi? No, Billy said, okay. No.
I already got to call me up there, and then they took the extension away.
They took, oh, no. Life's rough, brother, and then you die. Yeah, okay.
Lord already said it once.
Well, half of those that get one later want to get rid of them, divorce rate. Yeah. Okay. Get our Woe series, What on Earth is About to Happen, for heaven's sake. Now, Judy does not know I'm going to do this. She's up in New York for another couple days. She's been volunteering her time here, for about a year? 2 years. Yeah. Well, as a side job, she does recaning of chairs. You ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Fixed cane bottom chair. That's what he does down there in that little shed we built for her. So if you need her cane bottom chair fixed, call office 855 Big Dino extension 1. They'll get the message to Judy. And she does that kind of stuff on the side. Okay. Bible says all the things that happened to them, the children of Israel, were in samples. They're examples or in samples. Sometimes things happen and they're to help us to get by things. Job had everything go wrong. And he said, Lord, I'm going to serve you anyway. So let's go to 4, 6, 8, enter right here. Some of the stories I wrote for my series of books, Why on Earth Did God Let This Happen? Only one is actually in print, in hardback. Hey, Joe, how many more are on thumb drive they can get? Or of none yet? Okay. We're working on it. Good. Quit sleeping, guys. Get the job done. So I wrote all kinds of articles from prison, and they posted it on drdino.com. And so now we're getting them into book form. The test of any theory is whether or not it provides answers to basic questions. Some well-meaning but misguided people think evolution is a reasonable theory to explain man's existence about questions about the universe. Evolution is not a good theory. It's just a pagan religion masquerading as science. Nothing scientific about evolution at all. It's a religion, nothing else, okay? A silly one at that. Now, here's the 10 questions to ask any evolutionist. Where did space for the universe come from? Where did matter come from? Where did the laws for the universe come from? Why do we have gravity, inertia, centrifugal force? There are hundreds of laws, physical laws. Who made the laws? Where did they come from? How did matter get so perfectly organized? Where did the energy come from to do all the organizing? When, where, why, and how did life come from non-living matter? I don't want a story. I want science. Come on now. Science, real science, guys. Let's go. When, where, why, and how did life learn to reproduce itself? That's pretty complicated. With what did the first cell capable of sexual reproduction reproduce? The first one that was capable of making babies, who did it have for a partner? Don't you have to have two evolve at the same time in the same place of the opposite sex, and they got to find each other and be interested? You got a whole host of problems, guys. Come on now, let's hear a scientific answer. Why would any plant or animal want to reproduce more of its kind, since this only makes more mouths to feed and decrease the chance of survival? Does the individual have a drive to survive, or the species? How do you explain the origin of reproduction? I want some atheists. Come on, answer it. How can mutations, recombining of genetic code, create any new improved varieties? Recombining English letters will never produce Chinese books. Okay? I've got many more where this came from, but let's start with these 10. I was thinking I published 20 years ago. Questions that atheists don't ever answer. Strange. Okay. Open letter to House Speaker John Boehner and all U.S. congressmen. This is in December of 2012, 13 years ago. Hold firm. No tax increase for anyone. No increase the debt ceiling. The government needs more money from the rich, like a drug addict needs one more fix before he decides to quit, or an alcoholic needs one more beer before he starts to sober up. Stop right now. It should be obvious to anyone with one eye and half a brain that the real goal in all of this political posturing by Barack Obama and the Democrats is simply the advancement of communism in America. I don't understand how anyone, Republican, Democrat, or Independent, can want to increase revenue even one more dime. There is a spending problem, not a revenue problem, but it goes deeper than that. The entire idea of take from the rich and redistribute to the poor is pure communism 101. Go to any communist country and see how they got there and the end result. They always follow Karl Marx's thinking and the idea that you take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Everyone thinks they backed up, but they're actually 1 step closer to the goal. That is all Barack is doing. Don't compromise 1 inch. I'm writing my letter to the senators, okay? Everyone in Congress, the Senate, executive branch, and judicial branch took an oath to follow and defend the U.S. Constitution. I would suggest they all get it off the shelf, dust it off, and read it. It's only a few pages long. It gives the clear limits of government. I can solve the financial crisis in 10 minutes. Follow the Constitution. Why are the feds involved in education, a war on drugs, foreign wars that don't involve us, welfare of any kind, medical decisions of any kind? The federal government has no business in any of that. You should follow the Constitution and coin money and shut down the misnamed Federal Reserve then put us on a real money basis. There's nothing federal about the Federal Reserve. It's a private banking company. Let's see. Why do you let private banks print our so-called money? Shut down about 95% of all government programs and lay off 95% of government workers and release all federal prisoners who did not commit a crime on federal property, like post office and military base, and scale the Fed way back to what the founders envisioned. Stop calling anything an entitlement. There are no entitlements. No one is entitled to welfare, Social Security, Obamacare, Medicare, education, or 1,000 other programs at the federal level. If any program cannot be found in the Constitution you swore to uphold, shut it down. Stop funding it. That's your job. That would balance the budget in 10 minutes. There you have it. Everyone else seems to be giving their ideas on the fiscal cliff, so I'd throw in my 2 cents worth. We went over the cliff many years ago. The only solution to America's serious problem is found in 2 Chronicles 7:14. Our problem is spiritual. The solution is spiritual, not political. We need to return to our godly heritage. God would have spared Sodom if he could have found 10 righteous people. Are there 10 in Congress? The Senate, the executive branch, judicial branch? I pray so. The founders knew that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. They also knew the power to tax is the power to destroy. They gave clear instructions in the Constitution about taxes and what the federal government could and could not do. Go to wallbuilders.com and read what the founders said. They gave great advice for times like these. Speaker Bonner, you folks in Congress are supposed to control the purse strings. Well, do your job. Please don't vote for any spending outside the limits of the very document you swore to uphold. If the president wants to go over the cliff, let him. Don't have your fingerprints any place on it. Please, we need statesmen, not politicians. Ignore the polls, the Senate, the media, the critics, and follow the Constitution, please. For all of us, Kent Hovind, POW in America. I do have a political side of me too. Okay, let's see. November 29, 2012. Brother Hovind, is December 21st, 2012 the end of the world? Does anybody remember that when they said the Mayan calendar ended and we're going to, end of the world? Okay. That's when the Mayan calendar runs out. I answered, no, the Mayans should have gotten a bigger rock. That's all. December 21st, keep in mind, this is written a month before that date, is not the end of the world, but it is the first day you can watch an exciting new movie about the end times on YouTube for free. Go to afterthetribulation.com for details. Be forewarned is to be forearmed. Please tell everyone you know, or can get to know by then, that they need to watch this film and get ready for what is coming. Maybe get it on DVD for a belated Christmas present. By the way, it was all the talk of Second Coming that got me to really study the subject and write my book series on what on earth is about to happen, and my video series. I had to change my theology. We're here for the whole tribulation. Whoa. Get the whole series, get my chart behind me, cover all that. I still believe we're here for the whole tribulation. Okay, let's see. My longtime friend and pastor Steve Anderson and thousands of others, myself included, have come to realize that we independent, fundamental, temperamental, right-wing, chicken-eating, radical chicken-eating, Bible-believing Baptists have been deceived about the rapture for the last 180 years. For 38 years of my Christian life, I was taught and believed in the pre-trib rapture idea that was made up by a 15-year-old Scottish girl in 1830. I just trusted the prophecy experts to have studied it and to know what they were teaching. Not a good idea. Study it to show yourselves approved unto God. I failed on that topic. Not anymore. 2 Thessalonians says the day of Christ, the day of the rapture, not the day of the Lord, as in the NIV and others. Boy, if you don't get your right Bible, you're going to have a hard time understanding a lot of things in Scripture. Okay. The day of Christ cannot come until two things happen, a falling away and the man of sin, Antichrist, is revealed. I see now why Satan has pushed so hard to deceive people about the timing of the rapture. So many are waiting for the Lord to come and rapture us out before things get bad. That is not going to happen. And Jesus never said it would. He said, in the world ye shall have tribulation. By the way, don't confuse tribulation with wrath. Why don't you tell the Christians being killed by the hundreds today in various parts of the world that we will not be here for the tribulation? See persecution.com. Tell them God would never let his church go through suffering. Wrong. Study the history of the 2,000-year trail of blood Christ's church has endured. It will be here in America soon. I predict that because of the disillusionment of the false pre-trib doctrine, that millions of believers right here in America will fall away from their faith and even turn other believers and their own family in to be imprisoned or killed, just as Jesus warned us would happen in Matthew 24, Mark 13, Luke 21. If you get my chart, go ahead and take that down for a second, brother. The big chart behind me is $25. There's a small version of the same thing for $10. On the back is all the Bible verses from Daniel and Revelation about what's going to happen. Daniel, Matthew, Mark, and Luke. At the beginning of Matthew 24, Mark 13, Luke 21, the disciples said, Lord, when are you coming? And what's the sign? And he talked about it for 20 verses, and he says, I'm coming after the tribulation when the sun and the moon go dark. He answered their question. It's right there. Matthew 24, Mark 13, Luke 21. You get the chart for $10, see what you think. Okay. If you were a Jew living in Germany in 1933 and could see the future, what would you have done? If you were living before the Great Depression in 1929 and could know what was about to happen, what would you have done? If you were living in New Jersey on the beach before Superstorm Sandy hit and could see the future, what would you do? Well, we have a book that tells us what is about to happen and what we should do about it. That's what this film is about. Watch it and get ready. This is not the time to be scared or panic. 365 times in the Bible, God says, fear not. This is a good time to get serious with your Bible reading and your relationship with God. This would also be a great time to quit playing with that stupid ball, any ball, and win souls. I've been saying that for years. This will be a great time to win crowns. Jesus told us to rejoice in persecution because great is our reward. He knows things that we don't. Anyway, I can't see the movie from here. I was in prison. Unless I win my case and go home before that. So please watch it and tell me what you think. If I can encourage you to stay true to the Lord in the coming persecution, it helps me get the Daniel 12:3 prize. You can have the prize too. Mark December 21st on your calendar now and make a list of folks to blast an email, tweet, phone call, telegram, yell over the fence, etc. on that day to remind them to watch it as well. See you at the finish line. It's closer than you think. Kent Hovind. On December 21st, I wrote this one. About a week before Christmas, as a man walked down the street, he noticed a sign in a store window that said, Merry Xmas. Well, being an algebra teacher, he walked in, found the store owner, and said, excuse me, sir, is there some sort of prize for the one who can solve the equation? With knitted eyebrows, the owner gave the teacher a puzzled look and said, what equation are you talking about? The teacher replied, why, the 1 in 12-inch letters on your front window. The store owner looked at the window like a calf looking at a new gate. The teacher continued, your sign says, Merry Xmas. I teach algebra. I can solve the X for you. It's Jesus. Andrew told his brother Peter about Jesus when he said, we found the Messiah, which is, being interpreted, the Christ. It's pretty simple, sir. Jesus Christ is what's missing on your window. Is he missing from your heart too? Eyes wide open. The storekeeper looked like he had seen a ghost. Finally, he lowered his head and softly said, yes, I'm afraid he is. I wish I could find him. The teacher reached in his pocket and pulled out a New Testament. In a matter of minutes, the algebra teacher led the man to Jesus. The store owner said, I think I'll get some soap and water and fix that sign right now. Thanks for helping me find the answer to the equation. It's easy to solve now that I think about it. Jesus has been missing from my life for a long time. Thanks for stopping. How about you? Is Jesus missing from your life? Is he missing from the life of someone in your family or your neighbor? Have you led anyone to Jesus this year? We're about a year out, Let's find somebody soon. We're about out of year. I'm sorry, it's December 21st when I wrote this. If you can't get a big one, then get a little one. Somebody is hoping that somebody will care enough to tell them. Psalm 142, I looked on my right hand and beheld there was no man that would know me. Refuge failed me. No man cared for my soul. Merry Christmas. I hate that Xmas stuff. Okay, one more and we'll quit. I wrote this September 1st, 2012. This rebuttal is my response to an article written on Bill Nye, the science guy. I've responded paragraph by paragraph to Mr. Howell's article on Mr. Nye. Billy Howell, scientist Bill Nye hammers creationists, evolution deniers, hold everyone back, harm children education, and hold views that will eventually be extinct, from the Blaze magazine, August, okay? Bill Nye was once believed to be America's brightest and most energetic science guy. However, the former child's show host, Bill Nye, the science guy, aired from 1993 to 1998, is entering more contentious ground of late, as he recently jumped into the political realm to intensely support Barack Obama's re-election campaign. The adjectives used to describe Bill Nye include bright and energetic. History records lots of people who were bright and energetic, but were wrong. Let's see, Hitler, Pol Pot, Stalin, Mao, Voltaire, Osama bin Laden, to name a few, who were zealous for the wrong cause. Let's remember that bright and energetic does not equal right. But politics isn't the only area of interest these days. Last week, the famed scientist lashed out against champions of creationism. In a new video for Big Think, an online educational forum, Nye claims that evolution deniers, I love the way they say that, evolution deniers, creationists, guys, okay, are damaging children and harming scientific progress. Whoa. Evolution deniers. Do you see any prejudice in that statement? Before we can decide if we deny evolution, we need to understand the terms. Bill needs to define the word evolution first in order for folks to know if they want to deny it or not. I've been through this important define the term step in all 100 debates I did with evolutionists at various universities, as well as thousands of Q&A sessions. I encourage students and teachers everywhere to carefully define the word evolution before they enter into a discussion on evolution, so everyone knows what they are discussing. It's futile to proceed until the terms are defined. The problem, intentional maybe, is that the word evolution actually has 6 different meanings or levels or stages. Number 1, cosmic evolution, the origin of time, space, matter from nothing in the supposed Big Bang. Number 2, chemical evolution, all the elements evolve from hydrogen. Number 3, stellar evolution, stars form from dust clouds. Number 4, organic evolution, life formed from non-living matter. Number 5, macroevolution, plants and animals produce offspring different than their kind. None of those have ever been seen. Okay. Number 6, microevolution, variations develop within the kind, such as big dogs and little dogs, bacteria becoming resistant to drugs, etc. Only one of the definitions for evolution is true, number 6. The first 5 are part of a religion that adherents must believe in, since they've never been observed or demonstrated. Bill Nye is guilty of mixing these definitions indiscriminately. He, along with many science books, sees and shows lots of evidence for number 6, which I agree, but then assumes that this is evidence for the first 5. It's not good science, Bill. The variations we all observe and that every farmer on planet Earth understands and uses does not offer any evidence for the first 5 definitions of evolution. Of course, Bill is welcome to believe the first 5 definitions, but he should be honest and stop trying to deceive people into thinking they are also part of science. Only number 6, microevolution, can be observed and demonstrated, the criteria for provable science. Creationists do not deny there's evidence for evolution definition number 6, but we do deny there's any scientific evidence for the first 5. Bill should plainly and honestly admit his use of the word evolution is religious. He's free to promulgate his religious views on his own dime, but he should not be allowed to use taxpayer money to teach his mixed definition of evolution as science in tax-funded programs. Bill is the one who is damaging children and harming the scientific process when he confuses the terms and evidence. The video, which was posted last Thursday, has already been viewed more than 1 million times, entitled, "Creationism is not appropriate for children." The clip holds back little when it comes to the scientists' views on evolutionary denial. In the video, Nye takes particular issue with the fact that America is the only nation in which creationism is so widely embraced. Millions of copies of our creation science seminar series, right here, there you go, are circling the globe in over 30 languages. So Bill needs to get busy. Bill is the one in denial. By the way, Creation Today, it should be Creation Science, drdino.com is where the tapes are available, okay? Bill's the one in denial. The evidence for a designer is overwhelming at all levels through the microscope or the telescope. The verse in 2 Peter 3:15 describes it perfectly, willingly ignorant. Does Bill need a light to light a candle to see the sun? Denial of evolution is unique in the United States, he said. People still move to the United States, and that's largely because of the intellectual capital we have, the general understanding of science. Beer is often sold at football games. Beer has nothing to do with football, and beer does not produce better athletes by frequent association with football. It is true that evolution religion is unfortunately often mixed in science books, but it will never become science by virtue of frequent association with real science. Evolution needs to be taught in a religion class at school, or maybe an ancient mythology class, but not in a science class. His qualms with individuals who don't embrace the notion that human beings evolved goes well beyond mere theological and scientific disagreement. Bill Nye believes that those who tout creationism are actually doing damage to scientific progression. All through history, there have been false notions that hindered or damaged scientific advancement. For instance, the geocentric theory made it hard to advance astronomy. Today, evolution is one of the greatest hindrances to the advancement of science. See the video Expelled with Ben Stein for many examples. When you have a portion of the population that don't believe in that, it holds everybody back, really, he said, going on to say it's difficult to make sense of life and attain the proper answers if one denies the scientific theory. Bill Nye said, evolution is the fundamental idea in all of life science, in all of biology. This is a crazy statement for an otherwise intelligent man to make. It was the belief in creation and design in nature that was the driving force behind the founding and advancement of every branch of science over the last 400 years. It is the religion of evolution that is the obstacle today. Design is the fundamental idea in all of science, not evolution. The evolution theory has done nothing in the advancement of science. Revelation 12:9 says, Satan deceiveth the whole world. You've been deceived, Bill. Open your eyes before it's too late. Bill's statement, evolution is the fundamental idea of all of life science and all of biology, is not only unprovable and wrong, it is standard dogma for his followers. I've often said that even if evolution is, as in the first 5 definitions were true, it had nothing to do with the real practice of science. In addition to being harmful to the advancement of science, the evolution is a useless theory. Bill went on to plead with parents, even those who deny evolution and live in a world that's completely inconsistent with everyone we observe in the universe, everything we observe, to properly educate their children. I agree. Parents need to properly educate their children. That would include teaching them the truth about evolution in order to prepare them to face the zealots who peddle their evolution religion under the guise of science. Part 4 of the Creation Seminar series, titled Lies in the Textbooks, and my books Help, I'm Being Taught Evolution in my science class. Video number 4 covers the lies, and all the books about what kids are being taught. Help, I'm Being Taught Evolution in biology class, in earth science class, in public schools. Got a whole series of books on our channel you can get at drdino.com. Anyway, part 4 of the seminar series, or in my book series, Help, I'm Being Taught Evolution, would be a great start for curriculum. We need scientifically literate voters and taxpayers for the future. We need people that can. We need engineers that can build stuff, solve problems, he added. We need scientifically literate voters and taxpayers in the future. Are these Bill's code words to say that anyone who does not fall for his religion should not be allowed to vote, should not be allowed to earn a living, or maybe even not be allowed to live on planet Earth? What engineer uses any of the ideas of evolution religion in his work, Bill? My dad was an engineer. My brother was an engineer. Evolution got nothing to do with that. In another couple centuries, that worldview, I'm sure, just won't exist, Bill Nye said. There's no evidence for it. Future. I think it was Voltaire who said something similar. He said in the future, no one would believe the Bible. Sometime after that, Voltaire's house was used to store Bibles to ship to missionaries. Nietzsche said, God is dead. I think God would say, Nietzsche's dead. As noted, Nye has been speaking out fervently for President Obama's re-election campaign, and as Inquisitor noted, he's been stumping for him. Isn't it revealing that a guy who believes he came from a rock and that there are therefore no moral absolutes would be for Obama? What morals does a rock, or more recently, a monkey have? Maybe you think about this, makes you think about this election. Truly, the God of this world, Satan, has blinded the minds of many. 2 Corinthians 4:4 says, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them. Proverbs 28 also gives a timely warning. For the transgression of the land, many are the princes thereof. We have lots of politicians and government bureaucrats telling us how to run our lives in every detail because we are a wicked nation. God is giving us what we deserve, not what we want. America has serious problems and will not be fixed by this or any election. Is that me?
No.
Keep going? Okay. I think 2 Chronicles 7:14 has the only fix for this problem. Read that verse carefully. God is waiting for his people to do right. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves. You can read that verse. Stalin said, he who votes is not important. He who counts the votes is important. Take a look at the last several elections here. Okay. When I'm released, my offer still stands. I'll debate any 10 evolutionists, including Bill Nye, at any time on 3 simple conditions. The creationist side gets half the time. We talk about one topic at a time. Either side can video and debate the debate and distribute it, unedited, except for adding in visuals or PowerPoint slides. I would love to see Bill's or anyone else's best evidence for any of the first 5 definitions of evolution. Looks to me like anyone with one eye and half a brain can see God created the heaven and the earth. But, by the way, world events sure make you think we're getting close to the end, just as the Bible predicted. Win souls, see you at the finish line, can't hold it. Okay, enough for tonight. We're getting through. Got a visitor come in. Thank you, sir. We're getting my books that I wrote on from prison on what on earth is about to happen. Getting those for people on thumb drive and going to be eventually, hopefully, getting more books. Okay, any questions or comments on the Why on Earth series? Great. This Wednesday night is the debate. The debate's Thursday. And we got to whack another atheist Wednesday. I love it.